school board meeting of the Radnor Township School District on October 22nd, 2024. First item on the agenda, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. I flip back a page. I would like to report that the board met in executive session today, October 22nd, to discuss security, personnel matters, and tax assessments. The next item on the agenda is the report from students. Well, they're usually right up front, so I was like, oh no, where is she? Welcome, thank you for coming.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic start to your week so far. As we transition into autumn, the vibrant leaves outside are reminding us that a very special week is right around the corner, LM Week. The familiar buzzing energy of the beloved rally and the football game has begun to fill the school hallways. Over the past few weeks, students have been staying to help out with decorating the posters and also showcasing their artistic talents by drawing and sketching out. Encouraged by the school council, many stayed after school to help out with refreshments being provided and drinks as well. They also managed to mingle and spend time with their friends. In relation to this, I am happy to announce that the LM Spirit Days are finally out. Kicking off on Monday, October 28th with Country versus Country Club, Tuesday, October 29th with Throwback Tuesday, Wednesday, October 30th will be USA Day, Thursday, October 31st will be a very fan favorite, Rally Day, and of course, I'll wrap up with the highly anticipated LM Game and Dance, which will be on November 2nd. In relation to this, the RHS Homecoming King and Queen were chosen, who are Amelia Hilbert and Jacob Kaufman. Congratulations to them and the whole homecoming court. Now, moving into RHS sports updates. Many had already begun to have their senior nights, such as cheerleading, football, and hockey, just to name a few. Moreover, the Radnor Girls Crew Club and the Radnor Boys Crew Club competed in the head of the Charles River in Boston, one of the biggest regattas for them, demonstrating the rowing team's strength. On to the club side of Radnor, Run for the Cure recently had their annual 5K and walk to spread awareness of breast cancer, drawing in a mixture of participants ranging from students to families to even young children coming together for such a significant cause and the necessity to bring more recognition to breast cancer. In light of the two recent maelstroms, Milton and Helene, the Travis Manion Club is hosting a donation drive till October 21st to aid those that are in need. Donations ranged from baby supplies to batteries. Additionally, the club Hopeful Hearts organized a movie day on October 17th, screening the spooky famous Coraline, with the money used to buy tickets going towards hurricane relief. I also want to highlight Radnor's upcoming Speak Up event, which will be on November 12th at 7 p.m., with the following topics chosen: stress, relationships/friendships, drugs, alcoholism, and pressure/mental health in sports and athletes specifically. This provides an opportunity for students, families, and administration to engage in meaningful dialogue, hearing different perspectives on these issues. On a different note, a not-so-fan favorite, some Radnor High School pupils had signed up and took the SAT on October 5th. For some, it was a new experience for many juniors. But for the seniors, it marked the final chance that they could take these exams to finally submit it to their college apps. To continue, on October 16th, grades 9 to 11th took the digital PSAT, which spanned from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. A new experience for many freshmen, but a familiar one for the juniors. Thank you all so much for your time, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to hear all the activities going on at our high school. Next item is the report from the superintendent. Dr. Batchelor, you know how to work that thing?
So good evening. It's good to see everyone. Just a few items I just want to share tonight as a part of the superintendent's remarks. Very quickly, want to just thank our two donations that are on the agenda tonight. Thank the Education Foundation. Our Radnor Educational Foundation works so hard to support our schools, and there's so many that volunteer to make that happen. And I want to thank them for all that they do in the grants for this school year. And I also want to thank the National Philanthropic Trust for their recent grant to Iven Elementary. We welcome tonight on the personnel agenda Catherine Jumper, our Supervisor of Special Education. So we're excited to have Catherine join the team. Catherine comes to us from Upper Darby School District, and we're just excited to have her expertise in our special education, our student services department. We had a dedication just last week. The board was well aware. Some of our parents and our community members came together to have our auditorium named after Dan and Maria Drew. Dan and Maria just retired, and you can see from the pictures they were there for the ribbon cutting. The band students were there to support them in this wonderful recognition. Since their retirement, it's just been so nice to be at football games and to see both Dan and Maria still there supporting our students, and Dan has also been involved in substituting in the building, which has been really wonderful. But it was a great moment to commemorate not only dedication, I think it was combined 65 years with the two of them, of devotion to the school and to the students. I was so struck when Dan Drew retired and he spoke to the faculty, and he stood up and he looked at all of the staff and he said, "I love my job. I love what I get to do every day." And he spoke about how he had the opportunity in band to see the students grow, because he gets them from 9th through 12th grade. And he talked about also the connections that he develops with the students that last well beyond high school, and just the opportunities because of who he is, that he was able to connect and guide so many kids. So I know our community was excited for this moment. We're excited that they are still both very involved in our community, but it was a wonderful occasion for all of us. And then we've already heard the LM game is coming up and activities are in full gear at the high school. The students have been getting ready, and there is a new, the students had requested this and gone to Dr. McNamara and asked that they would like to have an LM dance be part of the festivities of the weekend. So we will be having a dance to go along with the festivities, thanks to our student input. And then upcoming events, as you see, there's a lot of activities happening throughout the school district. I just wanted to share that with the board and the community. And that concludes the superintendent's remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Batchelor. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any public comment in the audience? Do we have any recorded public comment? Okay, I think we do not. So the next item on the agenda is the report from the board committees. First one is curriculum. Dr. Babson?
Okay. So the curriculum committee met, oh gosh, I didn't write down the date that we met, but we met earlier this month. Was it the 8th? Okay, there we go. We met on the 8th at 5 p.m., our usual time. We talked about and discussed some new student clubs and trips, a donation from REF, which Superintendent Batchelor just mentioned, an academic affiliation with Arcadia, an agreement with the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency. The committee also heard an update on the K-5 steel standards and the 24-25 district initiatives. And for that latter issue, you can look at the consent agenda item 11.03. And then the next meeting will be held on Tuesday, November 12th at 6 p.m. So all you curriculum committee groupies, take note, not 5 p.m. like the usual time. It's at 6 p.m. at the admin building. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Babson. Next item on the agenda is Facilities Committee. Mrs.
Yes, the
Duffy?
Facilities Committee met on October 8th at 7 PM. And we actually, in September, we had gotten a pretty thorough update on Tremco, who was our roofer, had come in and given us an update on all the work that they had done on the high school. But the facilities, that's really the only update we had gotten, and the facility was department was very busy all summer long and into the fall with various projects. So really, our committee meeting was just about an update on all the work they've been doing at the high school. And that included also the bus depot, which we did some repaving. So it was all the things we had discussed in the spring that was going to happen, but we got the update. The other thing of note is that on Wednesday, October 16th, we did have our Act 34 public hearing. And by all reports, I think it went smoothly. And our next committee meeting is November 12th at 5 p.m.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Solomon, would you like to report out on the finance?
Yes, thank you. The Finance Committee met on October 15th at 5 p.m. There's several items on the consent agenda that we discussed in committee, including the approval of contracts for the Radnor Aquatic Club, the Echelon Protection and Surveillance contract, and the food vendor contract for bread and rolls, pizza, and milk, drinks, and ice cream. I actually want to ask for clarification about the next item we discussed. We had listed for the Finance Committee 2 donations, one that Dr. Batchelor already mentioned from the National Philanthropic Trust. Thank you to them. And then there was another donation of 2 Planet Fitness treadmills, and I'm unclear who they came from. One item said it came from the Radnor Middle School PE department, but another one said it came from the Marple Newtown football program. Does anybody know who that generous donor was?
Yes, we've had, we believe it is from the Marple football program. They were replacing them, and there was a connection, and that's how they received that donation.
Yeah, so thank you to them. And then we had an update on financing our new Iven Elementary School, and all the parties involved in that transaction were present at the meeting, explaining our second borrowing, which is on your agenda tonight, I believe. And lastly, we just had a update on the Act 1 index for the 2025-2026 school year, just to refresh everyone's memory. It is going to be 4%, so the index is coming down again. And that completes what we discussed in finance. Our next meeting will be also on November 12th, but we are at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Solomon. We also met, the Government Relations and Communications Committee met on Tuesday, October 15th. We had a great presentation from our Communications Department. I actually really urge you, if you have the time, to go look at all the work that our Communications Department has been putting in to really ensure that our community is well informed about everything that's going on at the district. In particular, we noted that they won the award for all their work, and there were some snippets, again, from this year's convocation for anyone who's missed that in the past. We also had a brief conversation about a couple pieces of legislation, but at this time, there's nothing moving along so actively that we wanted to discuss it robustly. I would note that we also wished everyone a Happy New Year, because the Government Relations Committee is not going to meet again until January, likely January. The next item on the agenda is priority discussion action, the parameters.
Policy.
I'm sorry?
Policy Committee update.
I skipped you. My apologies, Mrs. Stern.
No
Let's
worries.
have an update on policy, because there is actually a lot that's worth noting this evening.
So thank you. The Policy Committee met on Tuesday, October 15th at 6 p.m. And on your consent agenda tonight, we have 7 policies. 3 are up for second read and adoption, and 4 are up for a first read this month. Virtually all of them are brought to our attention as a result of change in law in Title IX. The Policy Committee is not scheduled to meet in November, and I do not think we will be meeting in December. So I think we will see our work resume in January. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for catching that. So now we're on to item 7 on the agenda, the parameters resolution for the bond series. Mr. Pauling, did you want to introduce this?
Yes, thank you. So the parameters resolution that is listed, Mrs. Solomon had mentioned that we presented this at our Finance Committee meeting. This is a resolution for a bond series of 2024, which would be our second borrowing for the Iven Elementary School project. We would be looking to do this as a bank-qualified borrowing, which is a net proceeds of less than $10 million received to the district, which gains us beneficial rates and a shorter call on the bond series. So the resolution will give us the authority to move forward with that, and then we will coordinate with our bond counsel and financial advisors as well as our underwriters to proceed to the market to do that borrowing and have that completed before the end of the calendar year.
Thank you. So the recommended action on this is that the board approves the parameters resolution to authorize the administration and financial advisor to proceed with the planned second borrowing associated with the new Iven Elementary School construction project, Series 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Okay. Were there any questions for Mr. Pauling? I know this was discussed at length in the finance meeting.
I don't have any questions, but I just really want to thank the team that came. Zach's not here tonight, but Zach Willard came, and we got a really comprehensive overview. I think it was a really helpful, good discussion if anyone wants to watch that portion of the finance meeting. And I'm excited to have them have a really great opportunity when they go out to market.
Thank you, Mrs. Stern. Anyone else have questions? Okay. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to run the roll call, or would?
Oh, I can do it?
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Dunn? Ms. Duffy?
Aye.
Aye.
Dr. Babson?
Aye.
Ms. Gerton?
Aye.
Ms. Lau?
Aye.
Ms. Rosenblum?
Aye.
Ms. Solomon?
Yes.
Ms. Stern?
Aye.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Okay, 9 affirmative.
Thank you, Mr. Pauling. Next item on the agenda is the PSBA officer elections. So the recommended action here is that the board selects PSBA officers and authorizes Brian Pauling, board secretary, to cast the vote for the board. Now you're throwing me off, because the last one didn't say roll call. This one says it is, but I think you've told me we don't have to do a roll call on this one.
Yes, because it's an uncontested election, we can do it as a, you can do it as a group vote. Yes.
Okay, and so let me ask first for a motion,
So moved.
and then a second.
Second.
Thank you. And then, Mr. Pauling, do you need to call the vote, or does it matter?
No, you can call the vote, and I'll just record the vote as a whole.
Okay, so I'm going to do this by each position. The first position on the agenda is the 2025 President-elect one-year term for Sabrina Backer from the Franklin Area School District. All those in favor? All those opposed? I have a vote of 7-2. Do you need the names of the? I got it. Okay. The next person on the agenda is 2025 Vice President, again a one-year term, Mr. Matt Vanoy from the Sharon City School District. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay, I saw 9-0, Mr. Pauling. And the last one is for 2025 to 2027, the PSBA Eastern Zone Representative. It's a 3-year term, and only the Eastern Section school districts are voting. The sole candidate on the agenda is Holly Arnold from the Tunkhannock Area School District. All those in favor? And I think I have a 9-0, but all those opposed? Yes. Okay. That concludes that part of the agenda. So we're moving on to the consent agenda. Although board action is required, it is generally unnecessary to hold discussion on consent agenda items, and with consent of all board members, they're therefore grouped, and approval is given in one motion. Does any board member want to pull anything from the agenda this evening? Okay, then I would like a motion to approve items 9.01, through item, I forgot to write this down in advance, through item 13.02.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
I think I have Mrs. Solomon, and I heard two voices, but I heard Ms. Rosenblum, if that's okay. I'll get you next time. All those in favor? Thank you. I have a 9-0 vote on the consent agenda. And next, we have reports from the board liaisons and community announcements. First is Mrs. Solomon, the Delaware County Community College.
An invitation and encouragement to attend the Delaware County Community College Annual School Board Dinner. It will be next Wednesday down at the college. And they will also give you a lot of information about what is happening down there. And I think it's really useful. If you haven't been, board members, please come down, because not a lot is known in our community about how many tremendous programs they have. And it would be good if all of us could be representatives for them. And to do that, it would help you to know all the things that they do.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Delaware County Intermediate Unit. Dr. Babson?
Sure. So we had our usual meetings on the first and second Wednesdays of the month, October 2nd and October 9th. We covered some personnel items, also some internal training presentations, which were quite interesting. And a group of us did attend the PSBA yearly conference up in the Poconos, which was very interesting. Thank you.
Did you want to elaborate at all on the PSBA conference? I know that's a couple days. It sounds like a lot.
Well, I mean, I could elaborate quite a bit. It was quite eventful. It was very interesting. The keynote speaker was Stevie Van Zandt of E Street Band fame. Absolutely incredible presentation. Really fascinating person, career. He runs a nonprofit, and he has been doing so for a number of years. And the name escapes me, unfortunately, but it has something to do with, it sounds like School of Rock, but it's like Teach Rock School, something like that, sorry. But it's a really fantastic nonprofit, and really it's dedicated to music education. And so he was the keynote speaker. There was another keynote speaker named John Hodge, also sort of brought the house down, was really fantastic, nationally known speaker. So, and of course there were a number of really interesting and impactful presentations on anything from school finance to special education. It was very interesting, very enriching.
Thank you very much. The Delaware County School Board's Legislative Council. I attended that meeting on the morning of October 9th. Very fortunately, one of the main topics we discussed is the Fair Funding Act and how that's affecting school districts who are actually eligible for some money. And the good news is that they're getting significant amounts. The bad news is the legislature is kind of dragging their feet about how long it will take to get them the funding that the courts determined they were owed. There were a number of other legislative updates, but I think that's the one that's most relevant. And I did tell them to reach out to us, as our GRCC committee, and also to us from a PSBA standpoint if there's anything they need us to do to help them. PSBA, Mr. Thornton.
Nothing more than what was covered with the updates on the voting and with Dr. Babson shared.
Thank you very much. Last item on the agenda, oh, I'm sorry, are there any other community announcements? I know sometimes we have other things people want to bring up. Okay. The next is the board announcements, and this is, as you've kind of heard from some of the committee member or committee leaders, we will have a shortened agenda in November. We have one night for committee meetings, and we will have facilities, curriculum, and finance all on November 12th, and then we will be back here on November 19th for our regularly scheduled business meeting. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Ms. Dunn,
So-
just.
I'm
just
sorry, sure.
Quick point.
Did I miss something?
No, pardon.
Yep.
I just wanted to interject. The education initiative that was started by Stevie Van Zandt is called Teach Rock. It's so impactful and incredible that I had to just stop the proceedings to give that its public due. So Teach Rock, check it out. Thanks.
Thank you.
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you, Mrs. Solomon. Can I get a second? Mr. Thornton?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Babson. Have a nice evening. Oh, I always think it's a foregone conclusion. All in favor of adjournment? 9-0. Thank you.